All right, Michaela, we are live. How are you?
I'm very well. Hey, Jason.
Bundled up because it's getting cold there.
Oh, yes, definitely. 3 degrees centigrade.
Ooh, I'm in short sleeves, in shorts, because it's hot.
Oh my God. Okay, tell me more.
Yeah, we'll just talk about the weather. But we are here to talk about your latest study, the h2c direct booking acceleration study, which I've enjoyed. I think SHR has been part of that since 2019, if I remember correctly. This year, your results have really many hotel. This is kind of how I saw it. Many hotels are missing out on direct bookings because of their legacy systems. They're outdated. They're disparate, disjointed. It's what I call the tech fragmentation trap that we just find ourselves in. Uh, you also found there's quite a bit of hotels are not happy with their booking engines, and we can get into that. But let's kick off with what will just tell us what is the state of direct bookings. Have we improved any? Where are we at?
Yes, there has been improvement. So that's the good news. And our research, which focuses solely on hotel chains, so we don't have any independent properties in there, shows that while the pandemic-driven surge in direct bookings has leveled off, the market continues to perform better than it did before COVID. So that was in 2019. And IBE bookings are growing steadily. So that's the good news. OTA and GDS shares have stabilized. And offline bookings are declining. So hotels continue to leverage their loyalty programs and member rates to keep their direct bookings growing. And in 2023, so that's the actual research that we did, IBE bookings make up 21% of total bookings. And that's up 2 percentage points versus 2019. And OTAs are at 36%. And GDS is at 7, if that's of interest, and offline at 36%. That's across all regions and hotel chains segments.
Do you have any kind of indication of where we're headed with direct bookings? Do you anticipate an increase moving forward, or
yes, definitely, yeah, because as hotels continue to increase or use more functionalities on their internet booking engine, on their websites, CRM systems, better integrated systems. So definitely, this figure is expected to raise. I don't think it will improve significantly, but let's say 2 to 3 percentage points definitely. And our research that we will start next year, we will also ask the same question, so we will get approved then.
Yeah, and some of this. So, I mean, a lot of these hotels are not looking to get completely off OTAs. It's a balance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a balance, and it's a partnership as well. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So we talked about we talked about systems. I don't know. I've gotten to where I like to name stuff. So this these disparate systems, I call it the invisible chain within a hotel system of
Mm-hmm.
these outdated, disparate, disjointed systems. Talk to us a little bit about how this specifically impacts a hotel's ability to drive direct bookings.
Yes. So first of all, maybe I have to explain our study included a mix of hotel chains. From those with highly modernized tech stacks to others just beginning to optimize. So that's always the case. It's larger chains, smaller chains, mid-sized hotel chains. So and as always, there is room for improvement at any hotel chain. And that being said, outdated and fragmented tech stack systems can lead to poor user experience and create more friction in the booking journey. So I think that's what you are referring to, and also results in limited personalization. And this again results in lower conversion rates and reduced customer loyalty. And it makes it harder for hotels to compete with the seamless data-driven experiences offered by the OTAs. So maybe to be more concrete, as per our research, the biggest challenges for hotel chains are actually OTA competition. I mean, that's what they indicated, traffic acquisition, and also the advanced booking functionalities on the website and on the IBE specifically, and their CRS. Rate parity issues are have been mentioned, and some hotel chains still see significant technology gaps and lack of customer data. So in general, there's always a trade-off between targeted technology advancements. But yeah, that's what the research shows.
Yeah, with regards to those technology gaps, like what, I mean, can you name specific integrations or upgrades that are crucial to get a little bit more balance between OTAs and direct?
Yes, I think I mean, for those hotel chains that are using very fragmented systems, I think you referred to that as well. I think it's crucial to really look at the interface requirements and really find out what data is being transferred, what data is not being transferred. And even if you have one system, then it can be complicated to exchange data throughout the whole customer journey. So the question is, how good can I integrate all the systems that I am using? What's my strategy? Which systems are leading, or if there is any system that is leading at all? I think strategy-wise, first of all, and I think we had some questions around this in the research as well, that the strategic direction comes always first, but here hotel chains are also struggling in getting a commitment throughout the whole departments that are involved.
Mm-hmm. Booking engines. The responses you were getting, a lot of hotels are not happy with the capabilities of their booking engines. What can you tell us about that?
Well, I think, I mean, if we compare it to the OTAs, maybe let's talk a little bit about the OTAs and that they are tech companies, at least the big ones.
Mm-hmm.
Competing with Booking.com, for instance, is challenging for chains if they are not a mega chain like Marriott, for example. So I would rather put the focus on improving the strengths of each hotel chain to serve their guest segments as best as they can. And this means knowing your guests, and consequently, this implies specific technology to get data and use it effectively. So coming back to your question, in our study, the respondents frequently highlighted limited personalization and upselling functionalities as a key challenge. And while personalization and also customization and multi-property capabilities have improved, issues like limited upselling, then we have unsupported rate strategies, and also reporting functionalities require more attention than they did, for example, in 2020, when we last asked this question. So we always do this comparison. If we ask the question before in a study, then we compare it. So enhancing the IBE doesn't always mean a full system overall. Integration, as I mentioned before, or optimizing third-party solutions can boost payment options and personalization, loyalty features, improvement of design and click flow, and so on. So also the payment method integration is very important, and that to make it as easy as possible.
Yeah, payment.
Payment, yes.
There's so many ways to pay these days.
Absolutely, yes, and that's a challenge. But some hotel chains have really found good ways to integrate, and they also have a very smooth process implemented.
Yeah. Financial impact. I don't know if you're able to quantify the financial impact of these fragmented systems that are keeping hotels from these direct bookings. I mean, can you talk to that?
Yes, but yeah, well, that's a complex question, Jason, because since every hotel chain's approach and tech landscape is different and is unique. And so that makes it very difficult to quantify a general impact, I have to say.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard anything about financial impacts from anybody with an official study, but defining a unified tech stack is also tricky, I think.
Yeah.
Because where do you draw the line on which systems need to be integrated or for it to be unified? So there's always room for further integration, as we just talked about this, and data sharing and optimization. But regardless of unified tech stack or fragmented systems being used. So for instance, many hotels are now incorporating F&B and spa services or data into their CRMs and moving beyond the normal PMS data, for instance, or IBE data. And fragmented systems can lead to inefficiencies. Yes, I mentioned that before, because there is the issue of, or it could happen that not all data is being transferred properly, but there are hotel chains who do it quite well. Yeah? And so it really depends on the capabilities of the hotel chain and the knowledge base and also the team that they are using. So improving system connectivity and data flow step by step remains a key focus area for the hotel chains. And this also improves, of course, the guest satisfaction. And system flexibility remains important for integrating non-standard solutions. So there's not one size fits all. That's my opinion.
Yeah. You're right. And I've talked to a lot of commercial leaders on the commercial side of hotels over the past year, primarily in North America. And not to get off topic, but they're talking profitability now. 2 years ago, they weren't talking profitability. And I get a sense that we're going to see some pretty interesting technology that is going to help commercial leaders understand their profitability more so than they've ever had. And I know you guys do some consulting, so I don't know. I mean, do you agree? Do you think I kind of feel like there's a big change coming?
Yes, there is a big change already happening, I think.
Yeah.
And you just mentioned it because the hotel chains are now talking about profitability. And I think you're referring to personalization, right? Or not only to
Well,
personalization.
the whole enchilada, as we say in Texas.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, because everyone that I have talked to has said the same thing. We spend hours each week trying to aggregate data from all these different systems. We're
Absolutely.
hiring
Yeah.
data analysts to help
Yeah.
us. And then we've got to decipher that data, and make business decisions on that data and track, progress. And And within all that, they're talking about, are we even profitable? How profitable are we?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that really. I mean, there is a lot of difference between the regions that we analyzed, and we didn't ask this question about KPIs, for instance, specifically during this research, but we asked it last year, and it was quite interesting because in some hotel segments or some areas, the KPIs were not being defined at all. So it seems that lots of hotel chains were still in the, let's say, testing phase of some of the new features that they were integrating. And I think, if I recall that correctly, only half of the hotel chains were, but I need to look that up again, defined KPIs per department. And I think that's when you define the KPIs, that really helps to analyze profitability and also gives a direction to the employees which strategy to follow. And if there is no clear mission across all departments, then it can get quite tricky.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really quite fascinating what's happening. So I don't think you just answered this question, but you're
Okay.
talking, misaligned internal goals between revenue, sales, and marketing, play a role in the struggle for direct bookings, surely. And so what solutions could align these efforts more effectively?
Yeah, that's, I mean, systems can help a lot. But in the end, it all comes down to communication, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's really crucial. And we asked this question during this research: how much are the teams aligned when it comes to making decisions, when it comes to budget allocation, when it comes to defining a strategy? So and we found that, I think, on a scale from 0 to 10, was 10 most aligned, that most of the hotel chains are more or less aligned, but I think it was at 6.7 or so in general. So there were, and sometimes during the interviews, we also got the feedback that the operational part is often forgotten. So if decisions are being made, then operations is very rarely included by some of the hotel chains. And that leads to complicated support issues internally, and creates a lot of workload by answering all these questions around the new tool, for instance.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of room for improvement when it comes to team alignment.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I answered your question
No,
now,
I think
but
so. Well,
yeah.
I mean, we could spend an hour talking about it, but
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
I think you did good.
Okay.
uh, so we can't have a conversation without talking about AI, for better or for worse.
Well,
Uh, but and actually, I know there's a bunch of hype, but I actually find it kind of fascinating because I think some of the hype is maybe leveling off, and the solution providers, like SHR and others, it's already a lot. It's been baked in some of their products for years, and they're baking more into it,
mhm.
and that's going to drive operational efficiency, and that is pretty exciting. But without answering my own question, I mean, what role? Maybe I just did. What role do you see playing? AI playing in future direct booking strategies?
Yeah, I think it's a very crucial role, and that's also why we decided to dig deeper into it for next year with our new study, AI and automation. So, but coming back to this year's study, we asked some questions around AI. And so AI definitely can transform direct bookings by enhancing personalized guest experiences. So we have functionalities such as tailored room recommendations based on past stays, for instance, which is not new, but maybe to a more going more into a granular level. And predictive analytics can, of course, dynamically adjust pricing to maximize revenue. So that's certainly helps. And AI-powered chatbots are key to provide real-time assistance. And the use of AI in hotel IBEs and websites, as we found in our research, is expected to nearly double over the next 2 years. So I think that's a major finding. And also I have some insights here of the study as well. The study shows that 37% of respondents use AI for yield management already, and 31% use it for content creation and 27% for AI-powered chatbot. And the highest growth area is in personalized booking features. I think that's also a key finding, with over half of the hotels planning to use it. So that's and using AI to initiate actions is also planned by over 1/3 of the hotel chains. And to initiate actions is a very broad area. So this could be virtual and voice-activated assistance, or predictive demand for specific items, or analyze guest feedback, for instance, to identify trends, or use AI to analyze the energy consumption. So we have very different areas where this could be used. So I think there is lots of room for improvement, and also new tools and areas. And with RPA and AI, building maybe a unified experience in the future, I think that will also become quite interesting to learn more about how RPA and robotic process automation and AI can influence the hospitality industry further.
Well, that's great. You're going to dive a little deeper next year. Interested to see
next year, yes, but we didn't do that this year.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to that. That'll be good. Yeah,
me too.
Yeah. Let's wrap up with, can you give us some actionable steps, a handful, 2 or 3 actionable steps that hoteliers can take, to lessen their dependency, to balance out the OTA in direct booking strategies?
Yes. So the recipe for increasing direct bookings is, of course, very different, depending on the hotel chain's location and so on. But I think there are some general guidelines that we can mention, also based on the research. So continuously improve the IBE or the systems that you are using. Behind the IBE is a CRS system, or we call it a CRS system. So whatever you would like to call it. By looking into more personalized features. So that's I think that's really helpful for increasing direct bookings. And then second is the CRM database that you are using. That should be clean. It should include relevant data, and it should also include a process where data cleansing is really something that is well arranged throughout the whole hotels, and as well as the hotel chain, depending on if it's more centralized or if the hotel chain works more decentralized. But the CRM database is really key. And we have learned in the past that hotel chains often use a CRM, but they don't really define a lot of standards around it. So they don't use it to their full extent. Let's put it this way.
I was surprised at the percentage that don't have a CRM.
Yeah.
And then the percentage that I think they felt like, well, it wasn't integrated with their CRS, I think was the other one that was.
It wasn't integrated, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Gotta do that.
So and that's again the integration issue. yeah, and maybe there is a third point that is important, that is the seamless integration. So if you were to define new systems that you are working with, then I think it's really important to sit down with the whole team and really find out what kind of data should flow between the systems. And the seamless integration, if you don't have a seamless integration, then, I mean, how can you use the data? That's really, that's the big question mark. And it's getting better. It's getting much better. We see improvements every year. But it's still a challenge, especially for point of sale data, for instance, that is not, or spa data that is not really integrated today. And then I have another one, the effective usage of data. So meaning knowing your guest is key. So the reporting that is being used in the hotel chains, the KPIs, we briefly touched on this as well. So I think it's really key to look at the back office systems as well here, and how these systems play into the whole strategy. And it's like an orchestra. So all departments shall focus on a clear mission. I mentioned that. Communicate regularly and prove their strategies continuously. And if necessary, also, I mean, so reach out to a consultant if you find that this is maybe an area you need support with. And also it's important, don't panic. It's really important to take the time. And if it takes 6 months or 9 months more, then yes, I mean, that's how it is.
Yeah. I like that. It's like an orchestra.
Yeah.
So the next time since I like to name things, since the next time I'm naming a unified commercial stack, I'm going to call it Mozart.
Yes. Much better.
Well, Michaela, I very much appreciate you joining me in talking this through. And I know I mentioned this, but you guys do consulting. So when you do consulting and you do the research, you really understand the research. So this is a great, I love it when the direct booking study comes out every year. And this is another one chock full of information. I know we've been giving it away at SHR, but where else can they find the report?
They can find it on our website, h2c.de. Just go to research and then you will find it there. And the topics are always different. It's always about hospitality tech. But this year's study was about direct bookings. Last year's study was about digital hotel operations, and next year is about AI and automation. But you find all these study reports on our website.
Yep. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jason. Nice talking to you.
You too.
Thanks. Bye.